What the actual fuck was that, Izzy? I just lost money on you, bro. Ah! Whoa. Woosa. Woo. Ooh, deep breaths. Oh man, deep breaths. Listen, guys, welcome to episode 18. Let's have a conversation. UFC 305 just wrapped up, and I have a lot to say about it. Well, before we continue, guys, quick message here just to let you guys know that Mr. TDC, your favorite MMA dumb casual commentator, I listen to you guys. A lot of you have complained about my previous mask having a significant effect on the audio of my recordings. So, guess what I did? I went on Amazon, got a few more new design masks. It's a new look. They ain't as fancy as the old ones, but these ones are, have a little gap in the mouth, as you can clearly see. It's gonna be a slightly different look, but I'm hoping this works for the audios because you guys requested for it. And if the audio still sounds bad to your ears, you can get the fuck off, okay? Stick with this one. All right, let's just get straight to this conversation we need to have. Ooh, UFC 305. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm just going to dig into the main event and talk about it straight off the bat. Let's start with Li Jingliang, aka the Leech versus Pritz. My quick analysis of that match was that, Pritz, he seemed very measured and composed, throughout the entire match. It didn't seem like he needed to rush any of his shots or any rush a finish. He dropped Lee. He dropped the Leech. Leech got dropped 3 times in the first round alone. And that's after taking several punches, right? Eating a lot of punches and still kept going, but he was dropped 3 times. Pritz didn't rush the KO, but when the opportunity presented itself, the Leech got KO'd with a left. The Leech got dropped, he got finished, right? This is the first time Li Jingliang has been dropped and finished by KO. Not finished as a, not finished as a whole, but finished by KO. First time ever. And I'm saying he was knocked out cold, like cold. My man slept there like he took a Valium. He had smoked some weed, some really good weed, and he was passed out in the octagon. Listen, I don't know if any of you have ever felt what it's like to be KO'd. I have. I've been KO'd before, and I've had concussions. And I can tell you, they're not very pleasant. And it's the memory loss that gets me the most, But hey, that happened. Good luck. Congratulations to Pritz. If I'm being honest, Pritz, he wasn't on my radar until tonight. Hey, I am a casual. I have made no big deal about it. I have made no claims like I'm a technical person. I follow only those who I follow, or I take notice of a lot of fighters that put themselves on the map. And Prates to me, had not put himself on the map until tonight. At UFC 305, he did. There's a name I'm looking out for now. I know it's the first guy who KO'd the Leech in the UFC. So, moving on to the next one. Jarziniho Rozenstruik versus Tai Tuivasa. So, you guys know my position on the heavyweight division. I'm not a big fan of the UFC's heavyweight division. I thought this is just going to be another one of those UFC heavyweight division, big dudes coming there to brawl. But it turns out it wasn't. In fact, let's start first with the fact that Jarziniho Rozenstruik looked pretty lean. I think this is the leanest I've ever seen him in a fight. Usually, Jarziniho comes in quite chunky, and he's a big boy. His nickname is actually Biggie Boy, but he comes in looking a little bit chunky. I don't know if that helps him with his power because he doesn't have to move as much, but at the UFC 305 press conference held a couple of days ago, I noticed something Jarziniho said. He said he was going to come in there and measure his shots. He was going to measure his shots. He wasn't just going to rush and dive in there, blitz for the KO. And that's exactly the game plan that he did. Like, he had pretty good. I thought it was a very good stand-up match. Tuivasa had his moments, but for the most part, I gave the entire fight to Jarziniho Rozenstruik. So I was very shocked when I found out that one judge had given all 3 rounds to Tai Tuivasa. I'm like, how much did Tai Tuivasa have to pay that judge to do that? That man was paid. They need to do an investigation on whoever it is that gave Tai Tuivasa any round. I had Jarziniho winning every single round. And it turns out that the particular judge who made that extremely bad call was replaced on the spot. Now that's a first. I've never seen where a judge makes what is considered a bad call and is replaced at the venue with a backup judge. It's the first time I think that's happening. And I think we need to see a lot more of that because it was completely crazy to me that anybody would give Tai Tuivasa a round in that fight against Jarziniho Rozenstruik. It didn't make any sense. Hold on, I gotta check my notes. What else did you guys know I bring my notes. I have to always bring my notes to just articulate these thoughts in a way that they can be concise to you guys. What do I have here? Yeah, there was more action in the second round, and there was a lot more damage to Tai Tuivasa. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Tai struggled. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa struggled to find his range in that entire fight, and that's because Jarziniho was moving pretty well. He wasn't bringing himself within range unless it mattered. A lot of times, Jarziniho also he tried to land a few very loaded shots. I think it was like 4 times in the entire fight. He tried to land a few very loaded shots, but missed. But even the ones that landed were pretty significant, enough for him to get the win. And again, I don't know what the ramifications or the implications of this fight at heavyweight is. I have no idea. I have no idea what the implications are because again, you guys know what's up with the heavyweight division. You know what's happening at the top. So, hey, it's happened. Good fight. I enjoyed it. Let's move on to the next one. Matthias Gamrot and Dan the Hangman Hooker. Dan Hooker really came out tonight. This was Dan Hooker, the same mindset Dan Hooker who fought Dustin Poirier. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and look at Dan Hooker's fight with Dustin Poirier. That was a war. Dan Hooker came out to fight tonight. Now, I had it 2-1 in favor of Dan Hooker. Some people say it was 2-1 in favor of Mateusz Gamrot. And I can see how some people may have thought that it should have gone to Gamrot because Gamrot took Dan Hooker down and had a lot of ground control in the fight. But if you notice, towards the end of almost every round, Dan Hooker always made a very, very strong comeback. I actually thought the first round was pretty close, and I would have been fine if it went either way. Second round I gave to Gamrot, and then the third round I gave to Dan Hooker. And something I noticed in the fight was that Dan Hooker, he really had the remedies for Gamrot's wrestling. Dan Hooker really had that lined up pretty good. He had the right remedies for the wrestling, especially with the guillotines. Especially with the guillotine attempts. I think he had like 3 guillotine attempts in the entire fight. And that sort of put Gamrot off, because at the end of the day, if you're a wrestler and you're going in for a takedown, there's always the high risk of a guillotine or a knee up in the middle. Every time or an uppercut, as we saw with Derrick Lewis and Curtis Blades. Curtis went in for a takedown. Derrick timed it very perfectly with a hard uppercut up the middle as Curtis Blades was leading in for the takedown. And the rest, they say, was history. You know, so Dan Hooker, he came in there pretty prepared, and he had all the remedies set. Congratulations to Dan Hooker. I think he deserved it. It was a good thing that they put him on this card, because a couple of months ago, Dan Hooker, his name wasn't on the card. You know, and I think Izzy might have spoken to the UFC to get Dan Hooker on this one. So good deal. Kai Kara France, in my personal opinion, was the most impressive win on the main card, right? He fought Steve Ercig. Now, the first thing I always want to point out, I'm always baffled at guys like Steve Ercig and Assassin Baby, Brandon Moreno, right? These guys look like your everyday chaps who can walk around the street, your everyday accountant or your everyday doctor in the office. But behind that boy next door look are some like really intelligent mixed martial artists, some really efficient killers. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, right? They don't have that mean mug. They don't look, you know, these two guys I've just called do not look like they can, they don't look scary in any way. Brandon Moreno is a super geek. He's a nerd, if I'm being honest. I've heard him own up to that. I've heard him claim that he's a nerd. But when it's time to put on those gloves and that octagon door closes, it's a different animal in there. Same thing with Steve Ercig, right? Even when Kai Kara France came in and Bruce Buffer was about to make the introductory announcements, you could see where Kai was pacing down, left and right on his side, back and forth on his side of the octagon, with this dead-eye look at Steve Ercig. And Ercig just had this look like extremely stoic, like he didn't care. He did not care for shit. And he has that look like 24/7. Anyway, I really enjoyed this fight. I think Kai, if anybody needed the time off to come back, Kai Kara-France was that person, right? And he was able to land a very, 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 very powerful overhand left on Steve Ercig that took Ercig down, and that was the beginning of the combination that just completely decimated him. Something I noticed in the fight, whenever Kai Kara-France moved forward, right, Ercig would step back just a little bit, where it's like the Kai's punches just get slightly close, or they literally graze his face. And I think he was doing that so he can position himself, you know, range management and all, so he can position himself for counter-striking. But unfortunately, that didn't work because it was only a matter of time for Kai to make up the range and execute the punch. And he set it up really good. The moment that shit landed, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. And even Ercig didn't have much to complain about, right? There's really, what do you want to complain about to the ref? Was an early stoppage? No. I thought that was a fantastic, good decision for me. I thought that did it. Congratulations to Kai Kara-France. Okay, listen, you guys see that I'm rushing through this because I really want to talk about Izzy and Dricus Duplesis. Now, I've made videos in the past where I've said that it doesn't matter to me who wins, right? Because the belt remains in Africa. And that's a little special thing for me. However, my preference anytime Isreal Adesanya is fighting, my preference is the last style bender. But I said something a long time ago, a couple of weeks ago actually. I said, I don't think Isreal Adesanya is going into this fight with the right mindset. I may have been wrong, or I may have been right at the time. However, we all know now that I was completely right. You tell me if the mindset to go into a fight, a championship fight, is like, you know, you're coming off golf. Bro, you're coming off golf. Like, what the fuck? What? Golf? Not even, tell me you're coming off hunting, archery, something with a little bit of excitement. He said golf. And then at the UFC 305 press conference a couple of days ago, DDP completely got under Izzy's skin. That to me was the second sign. The third sign, and I can say this now with benefit of hindsight, the third sign was in the octagon. Notice DDP's look and Izzy's look. Izzy did not really look confident. He didn't look confident. In fact, there was a point where he took a very deep breath and exhaled. Maybe he was trying to stay calm. I don't know what that's about. I thought Dricus looked very cut. He looked very fit, very well in shape for this fight. I already mentioned that Dricus looked very confident, actually looked more confident before the Bruce Buffer announcement. I gave Izzy the first round. I gave Dricus the second round. The second round was more wrestling heavy. After they tried to feel themselves out for the first round, and Dricus clearly saw that he couldn't really strike with Izzy, he went into the second round a lot more heavy, right? So a lot more wrestling heavy. So that was that. And then, so a point I noticed. Guys, if you watch that fight, you notice Dricus had his hands, his guard was really high. It was almost as though he was expecting either the counter punches, overhead punches coming, or he was expecting a leg kick. And since his guard was so held high, I kept asking myself, why isn't Isreal Adesanya going for more body shots and more leg kicks? Now, granted, Izzy did do a significant amount of body shots, but I just thought he should have done a bit more. Then I thought, just like he did with Paulo Costa, Dricus Duplesis has this thing where he blitz in, like almost like a Robert Whittaker kind of thing, but in a more awkward way, where he blitz in if he's coming for his jabs or he wants to do his, strike with his punches. I thought Izzy should have done a better job chopping down Dricus's legs, because Izzy was clearly the faster fighter, taller fighter. Whatever happened to his range management, because he completely threw that shit out the window in the third round. And I kept saying to myself, like, Izzy, you're going in too close. I just felt like he was always this is what I saw. Izzy was going in too close a lot of time in the exchanges. And I'm like, bruh, I don't try to get it's almost like he was looking to get a finish. I would have been very happy with point fighting, if I'm being honest, as long as he gave Izzy the belt. But man, Izzy it's almost like he threw his game plan out. And that shit cost him, man. That shit cost him. Some cockiness in there. There was some kind of pride in there where it's like, I don't know if his head was in the right place. I don't know if his emotions were in check, where it's like he decided to be more emotional in the fight and not more strategic. And that shit cost him the fight, bro. And made me lose money. You made me lose money. Izzy. Izzy, my man, the style bender. Listen, I appreciate Izzy and all that he's done for the sport, but I doubt that we might ever see Izzy. I think his time might be up. I think he's not hungry as he used to be. I think he has a shitload of money now. He has other things and investments outside of MMA. It's like Izzy is about to go through the whole Conor McGregor phase, where it's like, I have so much money, I don't feel like I need to get back in there and get my face punched. Or he might have just lost the competitive edge, because I honestly had Izzy winning the fight with Dricus up until the point where Dricus just completely turned things around. I don't know. Are we going to ever see the return of the prime style bender? I mean, he himself admitted that he was 35 years of age. And if he's 35 years old, the clock might be ticking. The clock might be ticking. He's gotten the fame. He's gotten the celebrity. He says, fuck the belt before he got into the fight with Dricus. Fuck the belt. Bro, the belt means everything. You know? He wanted Dricus's head, which is a good motivator. But the belt is the ultimate. Come on, let's not play around there. You wanted to be 3-time champion more than you wanted Dricus's head. But it is what it is. My guy lost. I'll take it back. Not happy about it. And I had going into that fight, guys, throughout that entire fight, I was having a lot of palpitations. My heart rate was pounding, and especially because of the way Izzy was fighting in the third and fourth round, putting himself well within DDP's range. I'm like, what happened to the Izzy who understood range management, right? What happened to the Izzy with the long legs? What happened to the Izzy who could chop down his opponent's legs? But then again, if you think about it, as a champion, when people see you fight a lot, besides the burnout, another downside of fighting as many times as Izzy has title defenses is that there's now a lot more footage of you actually fighting. And what does that mean? More footage means more people can study your tapes. More people can see the loopholes in your game. See what I'm saying? So you become easier to beat. And unfortunately, I think Stylebender might be there. And it's one of those things where I'm not going to write him off. Let's be clear. I'm not writing them. I usually don't write off anybody, unless your name is Tony Ferguson. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, any win at this point will not matter. Tony Ferguson, if he keeps it up, is going to go the route of Crazy Horse with God knows how many losses consecutively. He's at the point where Tony Ferguson is at the point where even if he has one win right now, even if he has 3 wins, yeah, if Tony has 3 back-to-back wins, it makes no difference. It's a wrap for him. Anyway, congratulations to Dricus Duplesis. I was thinking about whether or not Strickland should be next in line. But when you think about it, there's nobody. Sean beat Izzy. I would love to see Sean and Izzy, but I think that would have been better if Sean was on a losing streak. If Sean came off a loss and Izzy came off a loss, it would have been nice to see both of them fight for 2 reasons. 1, I want to see Izzy get a chance to get that W back. And then 2, if 2 former champions are on losing streaks that high at the top, I still want to have the title contention. It would be nice for them to fight, and the winner goes for the belt once more. Dricus can have a rematch with Dricus. So it's looking like Sean Strickland is next. Not exactly looking forward to that fight because I don't like the way Sean Strickland fights. I'm sorry, but let's see how it all goes. Let's see. Before I go, I need to talk about something. What the fuck did the UFC just do to Magomed Ankalaev? How the fuck is Magomed Ankalaev supposed to be next in line, and everybody knows that? He's supposed to be next in line for the title shot. And then you guys give him Alexander Rakic, and then turn around and give Alex Pereira Khalil Roundtree. Khalil has been on the tier, don't get me wrong, but Khalil does not deserve a title shot over Magomed Ankalaev. If anything, give Magomed Ankalaev to Khalil rather than a title shot. Like that is so insane. You guys didn't, Uncle Dana, you guys did Magomed Ankalaev dirty, and it just confirms the theory that Daniel Cormier made a couple of days ago. Daniel Cormier said that the UFC is protecting their golden boy Alex Pereira because they know that the chances that Alex Pereira will lose against Magomed Ankalaev is very high. So they wanted to extend that reign for a long time. That was one theory that DC said, and I'm more inclined to believe that theory now. A couple of videos ago, I talked about a conspiracy theory that involved Alex Pereira holding out in the moment to fight, hopefully, Tom Aspinall at heavyweight if John Jones or Stipe retires after their fight. That should, and thank God that I didn't speak that as facts. I said that was a conspiracy theory, and that theory has been proven wrong with this announcement of Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. That doesn't even make any sense. It makes no sense. You guys better have something really, really great on that pay-per-view. And I'm talking prelims and main card, because if that shit is not great, I am not spending $85 to see. I will not spend $85 plus tax to see Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. Are you kidding me? Are you guys really kidding me? It makes no sense. UFC, what the fuck? Sometimes you guys just do some shit that makes no sense. I don't know. Uncle Dana, I'm gonna let this one. I'll sort of let this one slide. I'm gonna see what other names are on that card. I think it's UFC 307, and it might be in October. I'm gonna see what other names, what other fights you guys have to make. You guys gotta make something great, or else forget it. I will not watch. Actually, I'll watch. Okay, I'll watch. But I ain't paying money for it. I can tell you that for free. I'll watch some of the fights, but I won't pay money. If that main card ain't shit, forget it. Ain't gonna be doing that. You will not get me twice with something the same quality as UFC 304. Hell no. Or 301. 301 and 304 have been crap. 307 is looking like it's gonna be crap too. Depends. I don't want to speak too early. All right, I'm gonna take this. I'll take a. Yeah, I need to rest. It's late at night, and yeah, so angry with this loss. But hey, I'll get over it. It's not the first time. I'm accustomed to Izzy's losses at this point, so I'll take my loss. I'll take this one in good stride. Okay. If you've been here this long, I thank you and I appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and engage. And look out for my next video on quick clips. You know, the new little segment where I give you videos between 5 to 7 minutes, shorter form videos between 5 to 7 minutes, focusing on just one topic that I think is of interest and I would like to share my thoughts. Try to release them multiple times within the week, but until then, people, peace out. Mr. TDC is going to sleep sad.